There it is. Greetings. Hello, hello. Welcome, YouTube. Thanks for joining us. Today we've got My Little Pony to discuss. Great fun. Jolly good fun. Bronies. We'll touch on bronies. DC pipe bomb suspect Brian Cole Jr. allegedly, has secret online life obsessing over My Little Pony. He was a brony. And he made brony art. Including, apparently, this one. Which says, I'm not cute, I'm deadly. What's up with this one with the white rose? Creepy. Yeah, strange guy. Oh, did he do comics too? He actually made My Little Pony. Oh, he only completed the first 8 pages. Well, no follow through. Groan. Sigh. Finally. I thought I'd never get out of there. At least I'm back to my old self again. Huh? That's it. Weird, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. I do remember, wasn't there a My Little Pony connection with the Charlie Kirk shooter? Was it? Not the shooter, the transgender boyfriend. Was that it? The little one. The one that looked like a little like rat person, mole person thing. What was its name? Chance or something stupid like that. No offense if your name's Chance. Unintended, anyway. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a My Little Pony connection there. It was something like that. A very odd little subculture. Shaping up to be a strange one. Alright. Let me see what else I've tagged here. Oh, just Vietnamese guy? Vietnamese guy? Okay. This, Catherine Harrod, J6 Pipe Bomber on The Untold Story. What suspect Brian Cole Jr. said and wrote in 2019 when he allegedly began purchasing bomb components, and in 2020 when he reportedly assembled the devices, will be central to the case. Communications documented in real time will carry tremendous weight versus claims Cole is now making to investigators. Oh, so he's allegedly claiming that he doesn't, buy the election results of 2020. He's a 2020 election conspiracy theorist, right? That's the line he's been feeding them. Sounds like his communications at the time show otherwise. Duh. Okay. Eric Patel confirmed Comey, Brennan, and Clapper conspired with operatives from overseas, as in British intelligence, in their anti-Trump operations. It would definitely make sense with Obama making all kinds of trips over there at odd times. Previously, Svetlana Lokova says, I gave evidence to the Durham investigation that Christopher Steele, whose boss is Richard Dearlove, former head of British MI6, Dearlove's friend and business partner, Stefan Halper. Remember him? CIA, MI6, chief FBI informer on Crossfire Hurricane. Christopher Andrews, my former professor at Cambridge, who recently confessed to be an officer at British MI5. All conspired to help Comey, McCabe, Clapper, Brennan, McLaughlin, and co. in their anti-Trump operations. Also involved were Gina Haspel, head of CIA London desk, and Alan Kohler, FBI representative in London.
Trust, coming back to Russiagate, where I was the lead investigator on Capitol Hill, exposing the FISA abuse, the weaponization, the FBI lies to a secret court, to illegally and unlawfully surveil a political opponent. Yes, that happened with information they basically made up from overseas. So the way that we ensure public trust is to make sure that it never happens again. That's step one. Step two, accountability and transparency. So what we're doing, especially with our deep knowledge of what happened in Russiagate, is two things on a parallel track. Congress, oversight. I'm committed and wed to congressional oversight. My predecessors turned over Comey 3,000 pages to Congress in his 3 years and change, and Chris Wray turned over 13,000 in his almost 7 years. In my 9 months, we've turned over 40,000 pages of material to Congress, not just Russiagate, Arctic Frost, but so many other things that they're interested in. We're going to continue doing that because I believe, as a senior staffer on the Hill, that's the best way to expose the information to the public and say, here, you read it, and you tell us what your feedback is. In this very building, there were rooms that were hidden away from the map site of the building, and nobody had access into them. And once we got into those rooms, we found more information related to the Russiagate hoax from prior FBI leadership. Information that was in burn bags that they wanted to have destroyed, but for whatever reason, no one ever got around to it, or they thought we would just never find it. So we have multiple teams. We've built squads for both Russiagate and Arctic Frost, and we are using the grand jury process, and we are issuing, I think we're up to like 75 or 100 subpoenas already for witnesses. That's what you target first. We also have targets of our investigation, people we think committed acts of criminal conduct. And this, in my opinion, is why the media is going so hog wild over the Comey prosecution, right? Notice how they're not attacking the evidence. They're just saying, oh, so-and-so was improperly appointed. That, to me, shows me we're over the target. That was just step one.
So you still have open investigations into these people. You're still looking into what ultimately happened with them. So do you think we'll see more come out of this?
What I try to remind the American public of is the people that built this weaponization of justice and intelligence and law enforcement and its politicization, they built this disease temple. It took them like 10 years. We've been in the seat 9 months, and we've already ripped open the Band-Aid and showed the world how they illegally surveilled on members of Congress, senators and House members, and staffers like myself on top of Russiagate. So we are not only exposing what they did, but they are frantically, the media, the mainstream media, and those that were involved in the weaponization of justice are trying to cover it up by dousing water on our investigation. Do you think that's going to stop me and the deputy here? We're going to get there. We're already halfway there on a lot of it. I firmly believe that this Comey case is far from over. We are not finished. We are formulating a plan to make sure that we actually use the Constitution to hold people accountable and don't let the mainstream media drive another form of weaponization of justice. These people will not be let off the hook.
We're going to hold you to it, man. Okay. Oh, this is just great. Vietnamese American guy.
Since when the fuck did we have
When the fuck?
Since when the fuck did we have to bow down to certain communities? Look, I'm Asian, I'm Vietnamese, okay? When we have our own communities too, our communities thriving. You know, we have businesses. We've been here only what, less than 50 years since after the 1975. Our communities are thriving throughout the United States.
They are.
If you look at our numbers, there's only about 2 million of us here in the United States. And out of that 2 million people that we have, majority of us have businesses, scientists, engineers, doctors, bright mind people that given back to this country more than we've taken. And we have never asked anybody to bow down or speak our language. Okay? Since when the fuck this stupid ass mayor of the little pirate motherfucking land pirate Somalian in Minnesota have to speak their language and apologizing for those motherfucking crook ass pirates? Since when we have to do that? This is just a fucking crook, and he's a Jew.
I just love listening to Vietnamese people say fuck.
Dude. What a shame. You know? What a shame. What the fuck's wrong with him?
It's excellent. It's top notch. I love it. It was so good. In fact, I went and subscribed to him. All right, let's see this Steph's pile. Didn't win the fuck. Vietnamese accents. Hilarious. All right. Excuse me. Oh yeah, Pam Anderson appearing in that new Julian Assange documentary titled "The $6 Billion Man," directed by Eugene Jarecki, who is is certainly a filmmaker. He's a bit of a retard. Just look through his Twitter history, which ends in 2020-2021 time frame. He's a full-blown COVID retard. Full freaking blown. I don't know why they freaking chose this guy, but that's who they chose. I mean it, like full freaking blown COVID BLM wacko. Hold on. Anyway, here's a little preview. You know,
their intention is to kill him. Bottom line. I'm Pamela Anderson. I think Julie and I had a great friendship.
Is Pamela Anderson in love, the most dangerous man in the world?
People just automatically assumed I was probably there for sex and not for, you know, any kind of interesting conversation. Typical. Our conversations were fairly innocent, but Julian was always uncomfortable. I thought sometimes he might have been a little paranoid. It seemed like he was aware of something.
Assange is being brought to Belmarsh Prison here in London, Britain's Guantanamo Bay.
Their intention is to kill him. Bottom line.
we'll see. We'll see if Mr. Jarecki fucks it up. Pardon my French. Okay. Oh, that's all this morning. All right. We can pick it up somewhere in here. Oh, yeah. Tim Pool had a little melty. He had a little meltdown on Hannah Zoen's rather expletive Latin.
Organization that's rallying young people, causing a shift in the political leanings of a generation for the first time in history, is now in dire straits. Their leader and founder murdered, and prominent pieces of human trash are trying to destroy it. It's fucking evil. So you know what? When someone pulls in front of my property and fires on it several times, I'm sitting
that would definitely make me mad too. I'll definitely say that.
You're looking at these vile pieces of shit and thinking to myself, for what purpose will I stick my neck out if this is what happens after Charlie Kirk is killed? Candace Owens is a fucking evil scumbag. She is a degenerate.
I don't know. I don't know, like, what is there, like, a connection between the people that, like, shot off gunshots outside his property and Candace Owens? Is there like a known connection here, or
Cunt.
is he just
She is burning everything down, and she's gloating and smiling while she does it. And you know what you fucking told me? She has no security. She doesn't fucking deal with the shit we have to deal with. She's a piece of shit. She's making everyone else suffer. And all of these fucking conservatives out there that send me these fucking messages have no fucking balls.
I just hate all of these people. Can we just throw them all, like, back to wherever they came from? They're obnoxious. Every one of them.
To call her out. More and more people have started doing it.
All astroturfed, by the way.
They send me these fucking messages. Good for you, Tim. Good for you, Tim. I wasn't the first person to do it. I'm not going to take credit for that. But don't fucking DM me like I did something for you as you cower. As you fucking cower.
I would be totally fine if Tim Pool and Candace Owens dropped off the face of my digital devices or touched them again. Never, ever cross paths with them again. Would be totally fine with that. In fact, I'd probably be happy.
Scared that she'll put you on her thumbnail and claim you benefited from Charlie Kirk's assassination, which he's doing to me right fucking now.
Yeah, that was the...
I'm fucking done with these people.
She has security, just not on the level of you.
Oh yeah, the one fat guy you mentioned with no wall and no barrier in a suburban neighborhood with neighbors. Shouldn't give two fucking shits. No one's out for her. She's lying about all of this. You told me you went to her house and she's got a 4-foot wall.
Okay, calm down, Tim. You're like 4 feet tall, dude. They got Pete Hegseth now by showing old videotape. What? They're showing old videotape of Pete Hegseth to try to dig at him?
And that they don't have to follow, and they should not follow, illegal orders. And we've shown you a lot on this show. Pete Hegseth himself saying that and believing that, apparently. But here is more of that. Some more examples of Pete Hegseth talking about what troops should do. This is from back in 2016.
Okay.
Military leaders saying you cannot possibly kill the families of would-be terrorists, and they would not follow the order. And his answer, Donald Trump's answer on what if the generals won't listen to you when you say take out the families? Oh, they'll listen. That's really not the answer.
No, I got some response from vets on that saying you're not just going to follow that order if it's unlawful.
The military's not even going to follow his orders.
The military's not going to follow illegal orders. And so the Trump campaign was forced to change their position and say, we're going to try to change the law so that the military can operate within the law. That's a tall order also. But then when pressed on it, he's an armchair tough guy. I hate to say it, but
what?
This is a guy who said that John McCain is not a war hero, yet he sought his own 5 military deferments. But he goes way too far, and then when the military says, we won't follow illegal orders like torture or killing families, which is not loosening the rules of engagement, he suddenly realizes, wait, I might actually be commander-in-chief. And the problem here is that voters don't know whether you get the bluster Trump, or which is the armchair tough guy, or you get the one who walks it back on a statement now and says, no, I'll follow the law. Here's the problem with Trump. He says, go ahead and kill the families. Go ahead and torture. Go ahead and go further than waterboarding. What happens when people follow those orders or don't follow them? It's not clear that Donald Trump will have their back. Donald Trump is oftentimes about Donald Trump.
Wow, that's him literally talking about Donald Trump. I know he said
From a decade ago.
Said it so many times, but just
so what?
To put some quotes around it. Pete Hegseth on Donald Trump. He won't follow illegal orders, and that's bad.
Armchair tough guy.
Armchair tough guy.
So think about when that was, Ben. That was March of 2016. All those.
Oh my goodness gracious. Shameless. Okay. Dems face a Tea Party style revolt in Texas and beyond. They're, in case you're not making the connection, they're referring to Jasmine Crockett. Axios is referring to Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett is the Tea Party style revolt the Democrats are facing in Texas. I guess they are somehow equating Jasmine Crockett with the Tea Party because, how do they put it? The one guy was in, right? Yeah, NFL star Colin Allred quit the Texas Senate race on Monday, even though he's like also running for the House or whatever. And then Jasmine Crockett jumped in. Somehow this is a sign that the Democrats are facing a Tea Party style revolt from what I don't know. Whatever creature supports Jasmine Crockett, I guess. Whatever manner of creature that might be. Prosecutors on Monday released new evidence seized from Luigi Mangione on the day of his arrest. Oh, we have footage here, huh? Body cam stuff.
Years since the arrest of Luigi Mangione.
Come on.
He's accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The suspect's pretrial hearing continues today. Now, last night, prosecutors released more evidence that they seized from Mangione, who has pleaded not guilty in this case.
In court, prosecutors played body cam footage showing that moment when police discovered a loaded gun magazine inside his backpack at a Pennsylvania McDonald's. While those moments were playing out, I noticed Mangione was looking down. I couldn't tell if he was taking notes or avoiding the screen. Altoona police officer Christy Wasser took the stand on Monday, recalling her search of Luigi Mangione's backpack on December 9th, 2024, starting, she said, immediately after his arrest.
Wasn't it an illegal search or something?
Body cam footage played in court showed the moment Wasser discovered a loaded gun magazine wrapped inside.
Like they didn't Mirandize him or something stupid like that.
Which she said was a pair of wet underwear in Mangione's backpack.
Wet undies?
Officers can be heard in the background.
Like wet, like with pee?
Saying, quote, "It's effing him 100%. Later, one officer asks whether they need a search warrant. A superior answers, "We don't need one." Wasser told the court it's protocol to search a suspect's property for potentially dangerous items. The defense is pushing to exclude some of the evidence collected from Mangione's backpack, claiming police questioned and searched his belongings without a warrant and before reading his Miranda rights. CBS News legal contributor Caroline Polisi.
If the police officers legitimately and in good faith believe that there's a substantial risk to themselves or the general public, they have every right, every constitutional right to go into that backpack and conduct a warrantless search.
After a brief search, video showed the bag being taken to the Altoona police station, where it was searched again. There, Officer Wasser found a gun.
Oh, somehow missed that one on the first go through?
Last night, prosecutors released
That's weird.
These photos showing the items in his backpack, including a 9mm handgun and silencer, as well as a red notebook, passport, and ID, and several handwritten notes. One of them described what appeared to be a map of Pittsburgh with possible escape routes. Another note read, "Keep momentum, FBI slower overnight." And another note, dated the day after the shooting, read, "Buy black shoes and pluck eyebrows."
This is a crucial motion for the defense because
pluck eyebrows.
If they can keep that evidence out, that is a huge win for them.
Wow.
Mangione is due back in court this morning, exactly 1 year after his arrest. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Yeah, that manifesto. Tell him to pluck his eyebrows. Zelensky met with Pope Leo, huh? At Castel Gandolfo in Italy.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Good to see you again. Good to see you. Good to see you. Please. Thank you so much. I hope it was not too inconvenient to ask you to come. No, I'm very happy to see you. Things are with such mood. It's beautiful. Thank you. It's reflecting. Repeating. Very good. Thank you. And have a wonderful Christmas. I hope so. Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. Prosecutors released new evidence seized from Mangione on the day of his arrest. They
Years since the arrest of Luigi Mangione.
Oh, I don't know. That's looks like the same clip that we just, I think. Yeah. TGP was first report on Democrat money laundering using Act Blue. Yeah, Democrat Rep Crow. I won't sit for an FBI interview. I'm not going to be threatened. Oh, is this over the video? Yeah, this is over the Seditious 6 video, right?
Before I let you go, I want to ask you for an update on the FBI investigation interest into you and the 5 of your colleagues who were featured in that video. Has the FBI made additional contact with you? Do you plan to sit for that FBI interview?
Yeah, there have been multiple outreaches by the FBI. Listen, I'm not going to be threatened. I'm not going to be intimidated. Let's be clear about what this is. There is no basis in law and fact for their investigation. Donald Trump is weaponizing the Federal Bureau of Investigation and pulling it away from counterterrorism operations, pulling it away from focusing on...
oh, no.
elder fraud, from focusing on all organized crime.
No, that's precisely what is being focused on. The shit you people engage in.
All the important things. He is instead using it to attack his political opponents, me and others, which should upset every American, not just for what it is, but for what it's not doing because of the detours and the distractions that Donald Trump is having its focus on. But I'm not going to be threatened. I'm not going to back away from this. And no, we are going to treat this for exactly what it is, an attempt to threaten and intimidate members of Congress who are doing their job and who are upholding the law. And I am sure as hell not going to back away from that.
And finally, there's a group of Republican veterans in the House who have condemned you and your colleagues for this video. What do you have to say to them?
Yeah, it's extremely disappointing because you know better. You know damn well that what we talked about in the video is exactly what we talk about when we were in the military, exactly what we train our troops on before we go on operations and go on deployment. And it is unfortunate that you have decided to bend the truth and to take Donald Trump's side for political expediency instead of side with rule of law, the Constitution, and what our service members deserve. So it is never too late to do the right thing. I will call on them to join us to uphold the Constitution, uphold the rule of law, and to stand by our service members who have been put in terrible, untenable positions by this administration. Stand by those men and women who have taken the oath, and we have an obligation to stand by, and let's support them together.
All right, Congressman Jason Crow, thanks very much for your time today, sir. See you soon, I hope. Before I let you go, I want to ask you for an update on...
Jasmine Crockett tanks her just-launched Texas U.S. Senate campaign, tells Trump voters to shove it. She doesn't need them. You need to win Trump voters. No, we don't need to. In
How
Texas.
do you make voters who previously voted for Trump, particularly given that you have been an outspoken critic and he has inserted himself, just take your campaign video as is. He has inserted himself at every turn when it comes
to... the one where she just sits there while Trump is making fun of her? That campaign video? I'll have to bang up start.
To your commentary. How will you convert those who are supportive of him to voters for you?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll necessarily convert all of Trump's supporters. That's not our goal.
Do you need to?
Our goal is to definitely talk to people. No, we don't. We don't need to. Our goal is to make sure that we can engage people that historically have not been talked to, because there's so many people that get ignored, specifically in the state of Texas. Listen, the state of Texas is 61% people of color. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of good folk that we can talk to. We know that when Beto came really close, Beto, who is a progressive, we know that he got 65% of the Latino vote. So what did they do after that? They specifically went after Latinos. We know that he got close to 90% or right there at 90% of the African American vote. So honestly, what we need to do is start talking to the vast majority of Texas. I think my message is very much a mainstream message. I don't know who disagrees with the fact
really?
That affordability is a real thing, except for the president, who says it's a Democratic hoax. But when somebody goes to the grocery store nowadays, whether it's in East Texas or whether it's right here in Dallas, Texas.
Anyone that believes you're going to fix that shit, well, I got bridges. I got bridges if they need to buy them. To Afghan illegal migrants have been found guilty of raping a 15-year-old girl in England. They were living in free taxpayer-funded housing, abducted her, and filmed themselves forcing her to perform oral sex on them. You're going to rape me, let me go, she says in the video. One of the criminals puts his hand over her mouth to silence her at one point. It didn't matter much because even though they were in a public freaking park, no passersby responded to her cries for help. In a victim statement to the court, the girl said, "The day that I was raped changed me as a person. I'm no longer a happy, carefree teenager. This was my first sexual experience. Now every time I go out, I don't feel safe." Jeez. But wait, it gets worse. During the trial, the Afghans' defense lawyers attempted to excuse the rape by citing cultural differences. Barrister Joshua Redcliffe told the court that his client is, quote, not used to a society where women are free and deemed equal to men. He is not used to a society where alcohol is freely available. He is morally at sea. No, he's actually crossed the sea into our fucking countries, and now clearly he can't handle himself in them? Sounds like, oh yes, there are massive cultural barriers that have become massive moral barriers. It's almost like there's a thing that should be a physical barrier that separates countries, and we should probably have a name for it, but I don't know what it would be. Like a hoarder or a gorder or like a snorter. I don't know. It's gone. I lost it. A federal judge has just granted President Trump and AG Pam Bondi's request to unseal files from Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell's sex trafficking case. Yeah, that may indeed backfire on them on the left. Yep. Supreme Court poised to hand Donald Trump a big win over the rogue federal almost said democracy. That's funny. Rogue federal bureaucracy. Thank you. The Supreme Court appears open to siding with President Trump after he fired a Democrat member of the FTC.
Court appears open to siding with President Trump after he fired a member of the Federal Trade Commission, the FTC, which is an independent agency. That decision would vastly expand presidential powers. Lydia Hu watching all that live in New York City to break it down. Lydia, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Bill. And among those watching the arguments yesterday at the Supreme Court include the FTC's chairman, Andrew Ferguson. Ferguson says he agrees with the administration that the president should have more power over agencies, and he acknowledges that means if the government wins, Ferguson could also be fired by the next president or even this one. Listen.
That's what democracy looks like. Look, the way our constitutional structure works is we vote for the president. He is supposed to be in charge of the government. If he's not in charge of the government, then we aren't in charge of the government because we don't vote for anybody else in the executive branch.
Now, under current law, FTC commissioners serve 7-year terms and can only be removed for cause, things like inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance. But former Commissioner Rebecca Slaughter says Trump fired her this spring without any legally valid reason. So she sued and she won in the lower courts. But yesterday, conservative justices seemed open to the administration's argument that the president needs more power over bureaucracy. But the liberal justices warned about giving the president what they called absolute power. So the stakes here are high. A win for the Trump administration could expand presidential control over agencies far beyond the FTC. Think about the National Labor Relations Board or the Consumer Protection Safety Commission. And looming in the background of all of this also is the Federal Reserve. There's a separate case pending because President Trump attempted to remove Governor Lisa Cook from the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, she has to go. Bye-bye. Change with New York Times report about Andrew. I read through. I'm not gonna read through it with you guys because just the gist is the people in the media suck, which we all know, and they are just dirtbags, and they don't care that they're dirtbags. All right. U.S. Navy FA-18 jets flying over the Gulf of Venezuela, continuing to remain active in the area. U.S. Senate confirms Trump conservative judicial nominee Robert Chamberlain in a 51-46 vote. Northern District of Mississippi. All right. Oh. Assistant AG Harmeet Dillon launches investigation into Colorado state prisons as Tina Peters is held in captivity. There are reports of unconstitutional and legally insufficient carceral conditions. Ugh. Prisoners have civil rights, Dillon says. What was this? Oh, yeah, Tucker. All right. Patriots are lined up in the cold to see President Trump in Mount Pocono, Pennsylvania.
So we are here at Mount Airy Resort and Casino. That is where the event will be tonight with the president. We are about a couple hours out from it now, but let me show you. People are already lined up here, ready to see the president tonight. They are excited that he's hitting the road and touting affordability. You see, they're pretty excited here. I actually want to point out Ed, who we ran into each other back in 2024 at the New Hampshire primary. Recognized him out here today. Tell me how many rallies you've been to and why you wanted to be out here today for his presidential visit now.
Today will be my 113th Trump rally. Yes, we met almost 2 years ago where there were
This guy really wants his Persons for Trump hoodie to be seen.
7 rallies in 7 days in New Hampshire in advance of the primary. But I'm from Brick, New Jersey. It's about maybe 140 miles from here, and I drove. I actually got here about 2:30 in the morning. It was 1 degree Fahrenheit. It was kind of cold. Now it's warm and toasty at about 18 degrees.
I know, these guys have been in line since 10 a.m. They have a couple more hours to go. It is pretty cold out here, Nicole. But tell me why you wanted to be here to hear the president. What do you expect to hear from him on his message of affordability?
Hope, optimism. I'm hoping to raise my spirits. We lost affordability in this country between 2021 and 2025 when the Democrats deliberately destroyed our economy. I once entertained the fantasy a decade ago where I thought I could retire early. I'm 66. I thought I could actually retire early and do the things I wanted to do. But no, now I've been dipping into my savings every month while I pay the bills. I think our great President Trump is in the right direction. In New Jersey, for the first time in years, for the first time since he was president last time, gasoline is once again under $3 a gallon. That's a start. That's a really important start. I thought I'd never see that again. But I'm also here because, one day these rallies are going to come to an end. I mean, and a Trump rally is the greatest show on earth. There's nothing like it.
I can tell you like coming out to them since this is over 100 rallies for you. And you can take a look at the line too, Nicole. Folks are still coming out here in the cold weather, lining up to see the president. It starts at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern here. The president will be talking about his affordability message, taking that on the road for the very first time here to northeastern Pennsylvania.
Okay. Talking to a Pennsylvania resident here on tariffs.
I know I hear a lot of people complain about the tariffs. I think it's the smartest thing that we could possibly do. Get the world more on an even playing field. Everybody's taking advantage of us forever.
Need to become a producer again.
Because
bottom line,
we are a thriving nation. And I believe we're going to continue to thrive.
We could. We keep heading that direction. Yeah. Wolf Blitzer, what's your response to these latest attacks from President Trump? Oh, he's talking to Large Marge, huh?
Heard there. President Trump posted yesterday that you are, quote, and I'm quoting him now, not America first or MAGA, and your, quote, new views are those of a very dumb person. That's the president of the United States speaking about you. What's your response to these latest attacks?
Well, actually, Wolf, I feel very sorry for President Trump. I genuinely do. It has to be a hard place for someone that is constantly so hateful and puts so much vitriol, name calling, and really tells lies about people in order to try to get his way or win some kind of fight. And I think that's exactly what's wrong in America today. That's what's wrong in this toxic political environment that has ripped our country apart. And I personally think that that's poor leadership from a president. It's a very bad demeanor, and Americans are very tired of it.
Well, see, she's found a new crowd. That's good. All right. Justice Thomas grills Russia collusion hoaxer. Oh, Mark Elias, huh? So that's already started. Mark Elias is in the U.S. Supreme Court now, making his arguments. Rambling campaign finance arguments. I still don't understand what you're saying, Justice Thomas says to him.
Thank you, Counsel. Justice Thomas?
Just so I'm clear, is there any First Amendment interest in coordinated expenditures?
Your Honor, I think that there is an interest, a First Amendment interest in coordinated expenditures in two regards. Number one, there is an interest anytime any entity or person wishes to make a contribution to a political committee. They are expressing First Amendment speech. They are engaged in First Amendment speech. Buckley said that is satisfied by allowing them to contribute. So essentially, the speech is in the first dollar. It is in showing support for that candidate, and that's why the contribution limits could be $3,500, because the idea to contribution limit candidates, because though the donor is engaged in First Amendment activity, engaged in First Amendment speech, it is essentially symbolic speech. It's the act of giving money. So that's number one. Number two, I think this case would be a very different one if the as-applied challenge, first of all, if it was an as-applied challenge, but second, if it was an as-applied challenge where what the party wanted was its own speech, and it wanted to coordinate that speech with the candidate. That would pose a very different case. And there would be different considerations on how that could be limited, which is why in 1996, the brief of the Democratic Party went to what the scope of coordination was, that there should be less of a sweep of what is considered coordinated. But if you're saying, is there First Amendment speech with respect to paying the bills of a campaign so that the campaign staff stayed at a hotel, it is just in the act of making the donation. It's just in the act of making the in-kind contribution.
I still don't understand what you're saying. If the party coordinates with the candidate,
I'm with Clarence,
and pays the bill, is that speech, or does that have a First Amendment protection, or is it simply, as you say, a bill-paying exercise?
It is speech. It is speech, and under Buckley, what it is treated as is a contribution, and therefore, though it is speech, it is subject to limit by Congress on how much can be spent in engaging in that speech.
Bizarre argument. All right. Really don't blame Thomas for basically saying, what the fuck? What? Yeah. U.S. authorities shut down major China-linked AI text smuggling network. Operation Gatekeeper disrupts trafficking network. Uses more than $50 million in advanced GPUs destined for China and other restricted locations. Huh. Interesting, considering they just announced that there's now like a deal where China can get the NVIDIA H200s, which I believe is their current most advanced, publicly available, mass-produced GPU. But but that's right. There were certain considerations for that. They were like, it was only for like approved organizations or something, approved companies. So maybe they were trying to get a load out to some of the companies that didn't make it to that list, or the old avenues get shut off. I think they're really going to try to crack down on the smuggling. All right. Trump now threatening to pull federal funding from Chicago public transportation. Oh. How much are we funding? Like, how much funding are we putting towards Chicago's public transportation? Exactly. I'd definitely like to know. Maybe they'll tell us here in the clip. This is due to the recent fire incident. The criminal with 72 prior arrests who set a woman on fire on the train.
Prosecutors say he lit a woman on fire aboard a train. Meanwhile, there are growing questions about why he was back out on the streets despite a rap sheet reportedly going back to the early 90s. Mike Tobin is live.
Because he's black.
Live in the Windy City with more. Hi, Mike.
And Dana, Lawrence Reed will be once again before the judge today, this time to determine if he will be held behind bars before he goes to trial. And that really is the backbone of this case. On Monday, he was out walking the streets despite a pending case for allegedly knocking a woman out, able to ride the L train where a woman was set on fire. Now, we have a statement from her family through Cook County Health. It's a pretty simple statement. They say, "We'd like to thank everyone for their prayers and well wishes as our daughter receives care for her injuries sustained earlier this week. We're also grateful for the excellent care and support of the burn team at Stroger Hospital." It goes down to the family to say the family will not be providing any more updates. Now, the criminal complaint against Reed says he went to a gas station, filled a plastic bottle with gasoline. The images get brutal here, so brace yourself. 20 minutes later, he was on the blue line.
Sorry, the fucking thing froze.
And train dumped the gasoline on the woman's head. She ran, but he chased her down with the flaming remnants of the bottle and set her on fire. Mayor Brandon Johnson's message is that violence on public transit is not widespread.
Of course it is.
Look, my responsibility is to build the safest, most affordable big city in America. The investments that we are making are certainly moving us in that direction. This is an isolated incident. I mean, I don't see this as some sort of trend.
We've tracked down more than 4 dozen arrests of Lawrence Reed since 1993.
Wow.
9 of them were for felonies, yet he has served just over...
He should, like, win an award or something.
2 years behind bars. Most recently, he was charged with aggravated assault for knocking...
With, like a free stay at Guantanamo Bay, or, maybe be nice.
...out a social worker. The state's attorney requested pre-trial detention, but Judge Teresa Molina Gonzalez denied him the request and put him on electronic monitoring. The website CWB Chicago reports that at that detention hearing, Judge Molina Gonzalez said, "I can't put everyone behind bars or keep everyone in jail just because the state's attorney has asked me to."
What?
So we'll find out.
But isn't that like your job?
Later today, if a federal...
Ay. These people need to be held accountable, and then some. Every person involved in this kind of nonsense. Out of control. Ukrainian President Zelensky. Oh, I didn't hear a figure in there, by the way. I'm still kind of wondering precisely how much federal funding is being dumped into Chicago's public transportation. I'd like to know. Let's find out. We're gonna find out. Okay. Let's see what they get every year. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Boom boom. Oh, oh, we're still going. Should have done that slower. Come on. Man, it's just taking its sweet old time with this one. You think this would be a little easier to figure out? Guess they bury the data. Eesh. We'll come back to it. Yep, still going. All right. We were right around here. Ooh, properties tied to... No, hold on. We skipped this one. Zelensky's announced that Ukraine and European partners are preparing to submit an updated peace proposal to the United States soon. So that follows him just the other day, I believe, saying that Ukraine will not cede any territory to Russia, which is pretty much that's like flipping the negotiating table. Like you're not doing it. You're not negotiating. So I don't know what this updated peace proposal that they're tossing out there is going to contain, but I doubt it's going to be to the liking of the United States. Wouldn't be too surprised to see Trump pull out. Properties tied to the Feeding Our Future fraud in Minnesota are still owned by Somali scammers despite plans for forfeiture. Wow. Fraudsters use taxpayer money to buy million-dollar properties. And even after being charged and convicted, they still own the homes and their families are still living in them. What?
From this 5-bed, 4.5 bath in Washington County.
Jeez.
To $1 million house in Plymouth, complete with an indoor basketball court. My name is Eric Rasmussen.
Wait, no. No.
Listen, I'm a reporter.
Where's my basketball court?
With KSTP. Another right off this
I would never use it, but
county road in Burnsville.
Like, come on.
Do you know if the government is trying to take this house? They're not? We had to see these properties for ourselves. Each house owned by people convicted of fraud, connected to Feeding Our Future. $250 million meant to help kids in need, stolen.
Funded by your money.
At the height of the pandemic.
We've property all over the state, in different parts of the country.
But long after prosecutors filed paperwork to seize properties purchased with stolen taxpayer dollars, neighbors told 5 Investigates that still has not happened. Is it fair for the public to want answers?
Let's see. Is it fair for people who were born here, whose parents were born here, whose grandparents were born here, people like Badass Uncle Sam and a number of others I know of, to get booted out of their houses while these people just get to live the good life?
About what's
have private indoor basketball courts?
Being done.
Probably a movie theater.
Absolutely. It's our money.
Mark Osler is a professor at the St. Thomas Law School and a former federal prosecutor.
This is something in criminal law that too often gets forgotten, the money side of it. You know, we pay attention to the body when someone walks into court, when they're taken away to prison. But the harm is often in the money.
Take former Safari restaurant owner Salim Saeed. 5 guilty verdicts now. A jury convicted him and Feeding Our Future founder Amy Bach nearly 9 months ago. But we found Saeed and his wife are still the official owners of this $1.1 million house in Plymouth. Fraud money funded their $952,000 down payment in 2021. And county records show they
paid $1 million. They plunked down $1 million in freaking cash.
racked up more than $50,000 in delinquent property taxes since then. No one responded to the note I left, but a week later we did see someone leaving in a Cadillac. Prosecutors say
disgusting.
They have to wait
Paid for by you too.
for Salim Saeed to be sentenced before they can take the property. But that doesn't explain this one. Records show the owner of this
another one.
house in Willerny is Jonathan Ross, the husband of Sharon Ross.
We want to keep that
Oh boy, now we get the black fraud. Here we go.
program going.
The former director of House of Refuge Twin Cities was
sickos
sentenced to prison in February for her role in the Feeding Our Future fraud. That should have cleared the way for the government to take the property, but we found a car wreck.
I think people would probably be astounded to find out the amount of fraud taking place on racial lines since the Obama admin and the time since. Like, there has been a drastic and just like basic, it's like without base. There's no other explanation for it. Like the massive rise in wealth, like huge wealth being transferred to certain people and not so much others. And it's starting to look to me like there's only one way that happens.
Registered to Ross's husband, still sitting in the driveway. We are also asking about this house in Burnsville, owned by former Feeding Our Future employee Abdi Kerm Idle. Do you know Mr. Idle? Right before being named in the first indictments in 2022, Amy Bach's right-hand man fled the country. Do you know where he is?
And I guarantee you, they justify it to themselves by claiming it's reparations. This is reparations, you guys.
That's the voice of Idle's ex-wife, according to a second person who spoke to me from behind the front door.
Ex-husband.
If we ain't gonna give it to him, well, they're just gonna take it.
Sure enough, a month after investigators say Idle put down $95,000 on his new house, records show he and his wife filed for divorce. A mutual agreement, living in the same house, they wrote, right before Idle disappeared.
Instead of having to go through that person and try to extradite him and all of that, we can go directly after the property. I'm sure that's what's being considered. But still frustrating we don't have the body too. That individual who was so culpable.
I'm going to leave my information here. So what else can be done?
Public attention always helps. So what you're doing is
well, there's plenty on the way, I believe. I don't think this one's going away.
Really going to help.
For now, Osler says taxpayers will have to be patient.
Dick. Zelensky says he's under heavy pressure to accept President Trump's peace plan by Christmas. Good. Yeah, I saw this one. Federal Appeals Court held up the trans-military ban, upholding Pete Hegseth's ban on trannies in the military. We saw the bronies. Saw that. All right. Fox has learned that Senate Republicans plan to offer a healthcare alternative to the Democrats' package. What? Okay. What are they going to do? Written by the Senate Finance Committee Chairman Mike Crepo and Senate Health Committee Chairman Bill Cassidy. The GOP alternative does not renew Obamacare subsidies after December 31st, but it does give people flexibility to enroll in health savings accounts. Democrats are planning a bill which renews expiring Obamacare subsidies for 3 years, but lack reforms. Both plans need 60 A's, both expected to fail. Oh, well, speaking of well, what we were just talking about, certain types of fraud among certain communities in this country. Democrat Georgia state rep indicted for pandemic fraud. Others being investigated.
Indicted for fraud. We're learning more about this Georgia lawmaker. She is accused of illegally collecting pandemic benefits, and you're taking a look at...
Surprise, surprise. Ridiculous at this point. It's like like if you don't see the pattern, I don't know, you're not looking.
Sharon Henderson. Federal investigators arrested her today. They say she collected nearly $18,000 in unemployment benefits using false information. Federal prosecutors say this happened while Henderson was a political candidate and later while serving in office. They believe she first applied for pandemic unemployment benefits in June 2020. At the time, she was running for a state house seat and claimed she was unemployed because Henry County schools had closed. Prosecutors say that information was false.
Wow.
They say she'd not worked for the school system since briefly serving as a substitute teacher in 2018, and that her employment agreement specifically said substitutes were not eligible for unemployment pay. Now, according to this indictment, Henderson continued certifying weekly benefits into mid-2021, including 8 filings made after she was sworn into office as a state representative for District 113. During those filings, officials say she repeatedly claimed she was unable to work because of pandemic-related issues, but investigators say those statements allowed her to receive $17,811 in benefits she was not entitled to. Now, she is expected to plead not guilty when she appears in federal
lady.
court today. We'll continue to keep you updated on this story.
Yeah, I'm sure you didn't do nothing. Paramount Skydance CEO David Ellison, interesting here, has offered assurances to the Trump admin that he would drastically transform CNN if he bought Warner Brothers. Right. I actually didn't think about that, but yeah, that would have meant Netflix owning CNN. Like, ugh. I mean, Paramount isn't really that much better at all, but it's better than Netflix. Especially when it just, I mean, just, when it comes to movie business, generally speaking, I'd much rather have Paramount than Netflix. But, geez, Netflix owning CNN, like, ugh. So the Paramount bid is what? It was like $108 billion, I think. We'll have to see if Netflix hits back with a counter. I've been looking out for public sentiment, as I mentioned, among my unique circle of industry contacts, which spans some pretty interesting people. But I haven't actually seen much. Everyone's focused on, there've been a series of rather sad deaths among the, some of the legends of old world film, like the people that made all the equipment, provided all the infrastructure to make films, rental houses, and some legendary figures in that field just passed away within the last like 30 days. So everybody has been like talking about that. Rather sad, fairly unique generation. Completely unlike the ones that came after. They accomplished incredible things. Old amazing ideas just out of nothing and built them from scratch. In their machine shops in many cases, just by hand. An amazing generation of people, and a lot of info that's been lost. And I actually really wanted to go interview the guy that just died. Ran a really cool company called Joe Dunton Camera. He's a British guy, English fellow who made his way over to the USA and became a legend in his craft. Worked with Kubrick, provided lots of the unique equipment that Kubrick used on his movies, and fascinating guy. Really wanted to go interview him. He was getting really old, but he was super accessible on Facebook. We were friends on Facebook. We'd chat and ask him about obscure old lenses that he either owned at one time or helped make. His company actually made incredible lenses. These guys right here, amazing. He was super accessible. Really, really cool guy. The new generation's completely different. Stuck up, shitbag losers. Sad. So anyway, I'm still looking out. Point being, I'm still looking out for reactions to the Paramount deal. We'll see what the people think. All right, next. Oh, that's all. I already did all that. There we go. Okay. Massive victory. DEA reports the lethality of fentanyl pills is plummeting thanks to President Trump.
Encouraging sign in the fight against fentanyl. The DEA says pills seized by their agents are seeing a dramatic decline in potency. And President Trump may be the one to thank for that. Our Fox News senior correspondent Alicia Acuna has got more. She's in Denver now. And Alicia, these are some staggering reductions.
John, this is jaw-dropping data from the Drug Enforcement Administration. National lab test results on illegal fentanyl pills show a drop in the lethal potency of pills on the street from 76% 2 years ago to 29% today. The DEA says it's because the Trump administration is all hands on deck.
We are targeting the global supply network of precursor chemicals that go from China into Mexico. And if we can impact that supply making its way to the Mexican cartels, there's less precursor chemicals available for them to make this product.
The DEA says the cartels are being forced to dilute their product and even charge more per pill. They credit the
I'll bet they are.
administration for hitting the illicit drug trade from every direction.
While DEA is focused on the enforcement aspects of the drug trafficking world, there's also other aspects with the administration. It's not my area of expertise, where there's diplomatic efforts by our State Department, the White House, engaging with China on this topic.
Yeah, it would seem to indicate China's at least somewhat holding to their word on this. I mean, we'll see.
To this, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol report fentanyl seizures at the southern border are down by more than 50%. Colorado is one of the top 3 states in the nation with the highest amount of seizures.
Weird.
One example you see in this body cam video where the Douglas County Sheriff's Department recently was alerted.
I wonder why. I mean, I guess it's kind of like a central location. Maybe they send it there to distribute throughout the country.
Alerted to a storage facility where they found 1.7 million fentanyl pills.
Wow. Tina Peters update. Tina Peters has been attacked 3 times in prison. What? Sucks. Jeez. Was threatened with harm about 6 months ago. Her life was threatened by a group of inmates to stab her and to kill her. This was reported to the FBI and DOJ, which had agents interview her. She was moved to a different unit. In the new unit, she was attacked by other prisoners 3 times in different locations where guards had to pull inmates off of her. Jeez, dude. Justice Department opens investigation into conditions in Colorado prisons and youth facilities. Could be directly related to what's going on with Ms. Peters. Oh, yeah. The president made an appearance at the vice president's Christmas reception. Get out of here with that. Tell him to shut the music down.
You know, as Jamie implied, you know, we're trying to build a ballroom. We're not only trying, we're building it.
Must be at some other event space on White House grounds. I don't know what building that's in.
A glass ceiling, and then someday, perhaps not after the next couple of elections, but someday we'll have a woman break the glass ceiling.
Making glass ceiling jokes.
You know, Hillary Clinton was going to do that. She took the convention center, which I was responsible for having built in New York. The Javits Convention Center was my deal.
It's a pretty cool space though, with those a big open kind of skylight. It's like a greenhouse. It's pretty neat. I'd love to see the rest of that space. An incredible development. Assistant AG Harmy Dillon is surging DOJ resources towards a what are they calling this? The Second Amendment Civil Rights Division, I think, something like that. So they're gonna start the Second Amendment Civil Rights Division dedicated towards protecting the Second Amendment and striking down blue jurisdictions that violate Supreme Court firearm protections.
So
generally a good move.
I announced today that this month, the United States Department of Justice Civil Rights Division has started a Second Amendment section. And the purpose of the section is to have lawyers dedicated to enforcing our Second Amendment rights. And what's happening, as you alluded to, Joe, all over the country, is states are simply disregarding Supreme Court precedent that guarantees law-abiding citizens the right to bear and to keep and to use arms for lawful purposes and a broad variety of arms. And so far, I've sued on behalf of DOJ, County of Los Angeles for refusing to promptly issue concealed carry permits as required by the United States Supreme Court precedent known as Bruin.
Right.
I've also gone into the Seventh Circuit and argued the United States' amicus brief there, challenging the concealed carry the so-called assault weapons ban in that jurisdiction that bans 1,000 different firearms and accessories. We filed a similar brief challenging Hawaii's grossly overbroad regulations. And I have a bunch of cases planned challenging numerous jurisdictions in the United States that charge extremely high fees to even apply for a permit, have lengthy waiting periods, have unnecessary restrictions.
Hey, the furious Chuck Schumer says he's about to storm up to Pete Hegseth and demand answers about why they're taking out narco-terrorists.
Now, finally, this afternoon, Secretaries Hegseth and Rubio and top officials will brief the Gang of Eight, and I'll be there. I plan to confront Secretary Hegseth on exactly what the hell is going on in the Caribbean. I plan to demand Secretary Hegseth give the total, unedited videos of what happened in the September 2nd boat strikes. Trump originally agreed to do this, but now they're afraid. What's Hegseth hiding? And second, I will demand of Rubio and Hegseth what the hell is going on in the Caribbean and in Venezuela. What are their plans? How far do they plan to go? Trump has already talked about Venezuela waters and even going attacking Venezuela on land. How far do they intend to go? And when Trump says these crazy things, does he really mean them? And will he drag America into an endless war? It's about getting truth for the American people. The American people are entitled to see the unedited videos Last week, Trump said he'd have no problem releasing the videos. Then yesterday, he walked back his statement, claiming he said it was fake news. You know, this guy's amazing. He said it. It's on the air. Millions saw it. Now he says it's fake news, even though he said it. It means he's a fake. Let's be clear. The only way to bring clarity is to release the full unedited tapes. That's why the NDA included a provision requiring the Pentagon to hand the tapes over. If they don't, Pete Hegseth's travel budget gets slashed 25%. And this proposal had the support of Democrats and Republicans, including Wicker, including Republicans in the House and Senate. It shows you that both parties are united that these videos ought to be released so the American people can see them.
Yeah, okay, come on, let's see them.
Congress is united
in
Chuck. Demanding transparency. I strongly support this provision for...
Let's see the videos. Until then, shut up. Oh yeah, this was stupid. Saw an incredibly disturbing video of the U.S. attacking survivors of a capsized boat in the Caribbean. Oh, it's Mark Warner being an idiot.
Last week, I saw an extraordinarily disturbing video of Americans attacking survivors of a capsized boat in the Caribbean.
Okay, so how about instead of talking about it, you shut up and let people see it?
It is absolutely critical that the American people and Congress sees this.
Okay, go ahead then.
You know, this administration brags about their actions, shows the videos, at least the edited videos, right away. There's no way any of this could be classified since they've already shown the part of the video they liked. Let's let Congress and the people see the video and make their own decision. When we're talking about putting Americans in harm's way and potentially in legal jeopardy, all of Congress...
Hey, buddy. In Denmark, concern about Russia's threats and U.S. interest in Greenland. Oh, yeah. Okay. Danes told CBS News on the streets of Copenhagen they are increasingly worried about their country's security because of what they see as the growing threat from nearby Russia and concerns over the reliability of the Trump White House as an ally. He's the only one trying to save you idiots from yourselves. What the? I haven't heard about this one. New photos released of Ryan Wedding, former Olympic snowboarder turned alleged drug kingpin, wanted by the FBI. What kind of drugs is he dealing? Routinely shipping hundreds of kilos of cocaine. Whoa, bro. I mean, I guess the swimming career could only pay so long. Okay, Pete Hegseth and Rubio and chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dan Kane, are briefing the Gang of 8 lawmakers on Capitol Hill regarding the narco boat strikes.
Now, Fox News alert happening right now on Capitol Hill. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and other national security officials are meeting with top lawmakers behind closed doors. They're briefing the so-called Gang of 8 on the U.S. strikes against alleged drug boats in the Caribbean. We'll be watching to see if anyone stops to say anything on that as well on the way out of that briefing. Now, Fox News alert happening right now on Capitol Hill. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and other national security officials are...
Okay. Jack Smith starting his own law firm, specializing in investigations and litigation with a focus on pro bono per person fam? I don't know. Other partners, Thomas Wyndham, who quarterbacked the Trump DEC case, former Smith deputy David Harback, and Tim Heaphy, top investigator on the House J6 committee. I wonder who they're preparing to defend. If I had to guess, it's probably some big names. Senator Schumer, it was a very unsatisfying briefing.
Okay, it was a very unsatisfying briefing. I asked Secretary Hegseth, Secretary of Defense Hegseth, would he let every member of Congress see the unedited videos of the September 2nd strike? His answer, we have to study it. Well, in my view, they've studied it long enough, and Congress ought to be able to see it. I told him that every member of Congress, so many members of Congress, Democrat and Republican, had a right to see it, wanted to see it, and should see it. In terms of Venezuela, I asked them what their strategy is and what they were doing. Again, did not get satisfying answers at all. Okay, it was a very unsatisfying brief.
Launched the first episode of American Game. Tales from the Wild. Only a Tucker Carlson show or something. Some documentary. Let's see it.
Well, some Americans have become cut off from the things that once kept us grounded. Our land, our traditions, the skills that tied our families to nature and tied us to God.
Freaking monster bull just hanging out over there.
Most Americans have never hunted, never fished, never provided for themselves in the way that our great-grandparents did.
I told you he's getting his next spot. Woo!
Without even thinking. It was part of the job. In fact, it was the job.
Yeah, let's see if we can make something happen.
And to remind us, we made a new 6-part series, American Game, Tales from the Wild. We follow the sportsmen who are keeping these ancient traditions alive. We follow a former Navy
spearfishing, neat.
SEAL into the mountains of Texas.
We're fucking better than everybody else. That's all there is to it, and everybody's jealous.
Donald Trump Jr.
Texas.
Across the ridges of Lanai.
That's what we call going from zero to hero.
And wander with me through the quiet woods of Maine with a shotgun, looking for the elusive ruffed grouse.
I have just 3.
It's a bit goofy, but okay. It's fun. New trailer on the $6 Billion Man film from cuck filmmaker Eugene Cherokee.
Chiseled on the wall at the CIA headquarters, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free.
Who knows? Maybe Mr. Cherokee's changed his views in the 5 years since. I don't know. It could happen.
Hey, we must understand the gravity of the situation. We are entering into a state of permanent war, approaching a global surveillance society.
Yep.
It is not a choice. We must link together. We must invent new technological means to fight fire with our own form of fire.
Interesting. Where can you watch this thing? See. Did they give a... Nope. No info there. I don't know. Soon to be released film. We don't really get an idea of when. Soon to be released. U.S. judge orders release of Ghislaine Maxwell probe records. Oh. Okay, U.S. federal judge agreed Tuesday to unseal grand jury records from the probe of Ghislaine Maxwell, accomplice of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Such records are generally kept secret, but Judge Paul Engelmeyer cited a bill that President Donald Trump signed last month, requiring that the Justice Department release all records regarding Epstein by December 19th. Coming up in 10 days. Oh, joy. What a Christmas present that might turn out to be. On Friday, a judge in Florida ordered the release of grand jury transcripts from the investigation of Epstein in that state. Pleaded guilty in Florida in 2008 to a state charge of soliciting a minor for prostitution. Okay. So 10 days to go. Oh, Elon Musk on with Katie Miller, huh? 30 minutes ago. Interesting. under an hour. A believable conspiracy theory.
Theory you believe in?
All right, which conspiracy theories haven't come true at this point? We've run out of conspiracy theories that, because it will come true, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know about all of them, man.
I don't know of any aliens. People always ask me if there are aliens. I have seen no evidence of aliens. No one on the SpaceX senior team has any evidence of aliens, because I've asked the team, like, guys, am I missing something? Has anyone on the team, has anyone seen any evidence of aliens?
Does that include UFOs?
That's just an unidentified flying object. So,
be any number of things.
So UFOs, like, it could be like some new weapons program or whatever. That's, you know, some hypersonic missile or something like that. That would be technically a UFO, but it's just basically some weapons prototype. It's not like
it's so freaking awkward. Oh my gosh. All right, what else do they go into? Those stuff, AI and robots replacing jobs. Let's hear that. What's he got to say there?
You've said in the future that no one's going to need to worry about money or work because AI is going to take care of the rest, AI and robotics. What do you mean?
Where is it? Give me a second.
And compute the price cost probabilities of balance.
Yeah, this is it. Enjoy. One of the greats, Ned Beatty.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature, Mr. Beale, and I won't have it. Is that clear? You think you've merely stopped a business deal? That is not the case. The Arabs have taken billions of dollars out of this country, and now they must put it back. It is ebb and flow, tidal gravity. It is ecological balance. You are an old man who thinks in terms of nations and peoples. There are no nations. There are no peoples. There are no Russians. There are no Arabs. There are no third worlds. There is no West. There is only one holistic system of systems. One vast and immane, interwoven, interacting, multivariate, multinational dominion of dollars. Petrodollars, electrodollars, multi-dollars, rank marks, rims, rubles,
crypto, Bitcoin,
pounds, and shekels. It is the international system of currency which determines the totality of life on this planet. That is the natural order of things today. That is the atomic and subatomic and galactic structure of things today. And you have meddled with the primal forces of nature. And you will atone. Am I getting through to you, Mr. Beale? You get up on your little 21-inch screen and howl about America and democracy. There is no America. There is no democracy. There is only IBM and ITT and AT&T and DuPont, Dow, Union Carbide, and Exxon. Those are the nations of the world today. What do you think the Russians talk about in their councils of state? Karl Marx? They get out their linear programming charts, statistical decision theories, Minimax solutions, and compute the price-cost probabilities of their transactions and investments, just like we do.
We no longer live in a world of nations and ideologies, Mr. Beale. The world is a college of corporations, inexorably determined by the immutable bylaws of business. The world is a business, Mr. Beale. It has been since man crawled out of the slime. And our children will live, Mr. Beale, to see that
here we go.
Perfect world in which there's no war or famine, oppression or brutality. One vast and ecumenical holding company for whom all men will work to serve a common profit, in which all men will hold a share of stock, all necessities provided, all anxieties tranquilized, all boredom amused.
God, Petey's incredible.
And I have chosen you, Mr. Beale, to preach this evangel.
Why me?
Because you're on television, dummy.
This is literally, by the way, exactly what is happening right now everywhere in the media and alt media. We are completely overrun by thousands of Howard fucking Beals who started out as conspiracy theorists and now basically just shill for the AI overlords because they got sold. They got sold. They bought the sales pitch.
Because you're on television, dummy. 60 million people watch you every night of the week, Monday through Friday.
I have seen the face of God.
You just might be right, Mr. Beale.
What a fucking film. Golly. I know I've harped on this like any number of times in the past, but if you have not seen Network, you really owe it to yourself to see Network. It's probably my favorite film ever. Bar none. That good. Oh, did we finally get an answer here on Chicago public transportation? Let's see. Based on the RTA's adopted 2025 budget, the total federal funding allocated for 2025. Wow, we're giving them $2.3 billion a year for their public transportation. That is, wow. Also, the young ladies can get burned to death. Oh, nice.
You've said in the future that no one's going to need to worry about money or work because AI is going to take care of the rest, AI and robotics. What do you mean that people won't have to work in the future?
Assuming the current trend of artificial intelligence and robotics continues, which seems likely, the AI and robots will be able to do anything that humans want them to do, essentially. So hopefully not more than that, but AI and robotics will be able to provide all the goods and services that anyone could possibly want.
So you wouldn't need to work? Like, what would you do with your free time?
People will be able to do whatever they want with their free time. Work will be optional. I mean, I just want to.
I don't know, dude.
Separate.
I don't know about that.
From like what I wish would happen versus what I predict will happen, because people get.
I don't think it's going to be near that simple. I think he knows it. Gets asked about believing in God, huh? Let's hear his answer on that.
Who do you look up to the most?
The Creator.
What's your current position on God?
God is the Creator.
You don't believe in God, though, do you?
Well, I believe this universe came from something. People have different labels.
When's the last time you did something
So what's yours?
extremely ordinary?
Doesn't follow up on that. Is humanity inherently good? Let's hear his answer on that and how deeply that contradicts with, well, everything. We'll see. Well, I guess we'll see what his answer is, but I have a feeling I know what it's going to be.
Think humanity is inherently good, or is it just trying to be?
The concept of good wouldn't exist without humanity. I do think
there it is.
Humanity is on balance good.
There it is.
You know, I generally think like increasing the amount of consciousness in the universe is a good thing. Trying to
I have to say that's not been my experience. All right. There are good people out there, to be sure, but plane crash landed on I-95 in Brevard County, Florida. Whoa. Coming down directly on top of a car. What the heck? Whoa, dang, man. Yo. That was crazy. Driver somehow made it out with minor injuries. That is nuts. Look at that. Bang. Oof. I have no idea how they could have made it out of that. That's nuts. The thing crushed the roof. Man. I know I brought this up before, but this happened to me when I was a young boy. I have the video somewhere. Somewhere on, I know I've played it before, but my dad, when I was very young, had a Cessna that he had a share in with a number of other people, and we would fly it every so often to Kentucky, back and forth, see his family, and he ran out of gas mid-flight, and we had to pull an emergency landing on a highway. It made the local news and everything. Yeah, I don't remember. It was far too young to remember it, but there's news footage still out there. We got the tape somewhere digitized. I'll pull it up sometime. Thankfully, we did not land on top of a car. We just very normal, relatively smooth landing on the highway, and he pulled into the median, and cops came and brought him some freaking gas, and we took back off again. I don't know where they got the avgas from. Must have been like the local airfield or something, but yeah, he gassed back up and took off right from the highway, and yeah, it's a wild story. Crazy stuff. All right. What do we got? 15 minutes left. Let's keep going with the Elon stuff. Why not? Since we got nothing else. We'll keep clicking around there. TV show Elon is currently watching. Okay. Let's see.
No.
I am Irony Man. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. What am I watching? Actually, right now I'm watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the TV series.
Like the cartoon? Like the old one, or?
Turtles in a Half Shell, Total Power. Yeah. Because little X wants to watch that. I'm
That's fair.
Watching things that the kids.
That's a good answer.
Kids want to watch. Rewatched Dodgeball last night.
That one I've actually never seen. Will Ferrell? No. Actually, I always heard it's pretty good, but never watched it. Oh, okay, Charlie Kirk assassination attempt. What's he got there? Short one.
Has Charlie's murder changed how you do things? Or were you already locked down pretty well before that?
It certainly reinforced the severity of the situation where life is on hardcore mode. You make one mistake and you're dead. It only takes one mistake.
What's one moment in your life that you could live again? Just
Did he really just compare life to hardcore mode in a video game? Okay. Importing illegal immigrants.
The biggest thing is that, I guess the biggest single thing is that there are massive transfer payments going to illegal immigrants, like massive. Essentially, we're paying people to come here from somewhere else in vast numbers, including flying them in.
Yeah, remember when you shilled for H-1Bs like a moron?
So, like, it's not like you need a border.
I remember that.
Well, if you're flying them in, then fast-tracking them to citizenship and making them beholden to
Oh, you need me to adjust your camera over there? Yeah, okay.
government payments, and voting hard left. That's essentially, it's like voter importation. If you create a gigantic money magnet to, and you say, if anyone comes here from anywhere else, we're going to pay you tons of money, give you lots of free stuff. Come to America and get paid to do so. Like, you're going to get a lot of people taking up on that offer. When people say like this is fake, I'm like, actually, well, let's look at you know, Ilhan Omar, who was voted into Congress by you know, a large group of people from Somalia who are in Minnesota, which is really far from Somalia. Or Mamdani, who was voted to be mayor, but by a majority of people who are not born in America. Yeah, that's my understanding, at least. And then California is a big time situation. So I don't know. We just don't want to turn into a you know, communist hellhole, basically.
you've said in the future that no one's going to need to worry about money or work because AI is going to take care of the rest, AI and robotics. What do you mean that people won't have to work in the future?
Assuming the current trend of artificial intelligence and robotics continues, which seems likely, the AI and robots will be able to do anything that humans want them to do, essentially. So hopefully not more than that, but AI and robotics will be able to provide all the goods and services that anyone could possibly want.
So you wouldn't need to work? Like, what would you do with your free time?
So people will be able to do whatever they want with their free time. Work will be optional. I mean, I just want to separate out from like what I wish would happen versus what I predict will happen, because people get confused about that. They think that what I predict will happen is what I want it to happen. Yeah. What I predict to happen is not the same as what I want to happen. If I could, I would certainly slow down AI and robotics, but I can't. It seems to be, well, it's advancing at a very rapid pace, whether I like it or not.
Is AI what keeps you up at night?
It used to be. At this point, I don't know. I wouldn't say, there's nothing particularly keeping me up at night right now, except that, but you say, where do I wake up in nightmares? Oh, AI, yeah. Actually, I've had a lot of AI nightmares. I had AI nightmares many days in a row. what am I supposed to do about it?
What's your biggest irrational fear?
I try not to have irrational fears.
None?
If I find an irrational fear, I squelch it. I don't believe fear is the mind killer. So I want somebody who feels fear strongly.
On average, how many hours do you sleep a night?
6. You can tell based on my ex posts.
Yes, you can.
People have actually mapped them, so it's very clear when I'm sleeping and when I'm not. I tried having less than 6 hours sleep, but although I'm awake more hours per day, my cognitive function is reduced. So my natural sleep, I actually timed it with the phone. You can get a phone app and time it. It's like 5 hours, 56 minutes. That's what the phone said.
What's an average day for you look like?
Well, I have a lot of inbound communication. So it's information triage. I try to segment the days so that there's not too much context switching. Because arguably, fear is not the mind killer, context switching is. It's hard not to context switch if you've got an inbox full of stuff. But you can think like if you had to context switch every 3 seconds or every 30 seconds or every 3 minutes, the context switching cognitive penalty would be very high at every 3 seconds.
And you're talking about switching between, say, Tesla, X, XAI,
SpaceX, personal.
SpaceX, personal.
But even within Tesla and SpaceX, there are many different things. And there's sort of the stuff on X, like random news things. People being burned alive and stuff like that. You're like, what the hell is going on in this country?
Okay. Sorry for letting that roll out there, guys. Had to help her set up her camera. She's doing an interview with someone. Oh yeah, she's doing an interview with Bill Null, one of the Whitmer guys who is running for governor in Michigan. Had to get her camera set back up and the lights all properly set. That's looking good. There we go. A little dark. Well, you got to get your background. Oh, well, we do that because they're sometimes and try it. Got like 5 minutes left. Let's see. Okay, let's see if we can find. Oh boy. Candace Owens now claims she has proof the U.S. military was involved in Charlie Kirk's assassination. Okay. All right. Says she received an email from a man in the military last night. It feels like today will be the day that the government can no longer deny it. Charlie Kirk was assassinated and our military was involved. You got some convincing to do there. I don't know how much I buy that one. We'll see. Okay. Trump just today, I think. Like he's in the air. Ah, heading to the Pennsylvania event. Did he not spoken there yet? When is that supposed to happen? Oh, there we go. We'll play this out. It's like 3 minutes. And 3 minutes with the press here.
What's happening here? Well, she's a low IQ person. I can't imagine she wins. Maybe she'll get the Democrat nomination, but I think it's a gift to Republicans. She's a terrible representative. I watched her for the last 2 years. I can't even believe she's a politician, actually. Hi, Brian.
I don't know who he was talking about there, Crockett or?
final round of interviews for Fed Chair this week. There was some reporting you'd be meeting with Fed Governor Kevin Marsh, former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh.
We're going to be looking at a couple of different people, but I have a pretty good idea who I want. You're going to have to take it easy with that thing. You know, it's a government plane, but I like to take care of it.
Will there be meetings this week? Interviews this week?
Hello. Somebody's in there. Come on up.
Mr. President, Senators Cassidy and Crapo have introduced a bill to create health savings accounts to replace Obamacare subsidies. Do you support that bill?
Well, I like the concept. I don't want to give the insurance companies any money. They've been ripping off the public for years. Obamacare is a scam to make the insurance companies rich, and they have made, I mean, you look, $1,400 to $1,700 increase, 100% increase over the last number of years. There's really few things that have gone up like insurance companies. They're getting numbers and money like nobody's ever seen before. Billions and billions of dollars is paid directly to insurance companies. We're not going to do that anymore. I believe Obamacare was set up to take care of insurance companies, not to take care of the American public.
Republicans to vote for that bill tomorrow?
I love the idea of money going directly to the people, not to the insurance companies, going directly to the people. It could be in the health savings account. It could be a number of different ways. And the people go out and buy their own insurance, which can be really much better, health insurance, health care.
Mr. President, I was with you in Vegas when you had no tax on tips to help the hospitality industry. Would you ever consider no tax on gambling winnings, considering that might be another stage to save American tax?
I haven't been asked that question in a long time. No tax on gambling winnings. I don't know. We have no tax on tips. We have no tax on Social Security. And we have no tax on overtime. No tax on gambling winnings. I don't know about that. I'm going to have to think about that. I think it's better to go up and maybe take our seats. It's a pretty rough flight. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. I hope to see you again. I better get out of here.
Cut short by turbulence, I guess. It sounds like, oh, wow, you can hear them like exclaiming how crazy the turbulence is getting there at the end. Whoa! Sounds like Trump is set to speak in Pennsylvania shortly. I guess he has probably landed by now. I don't have the live feed up just yet, but let's check in on RSBN real quick.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news.
Oh, that's just, they're just running a little ad. We'll see where they're at here in a moment. When they come back, see if we can get word of whether he's on the ground yet or not. Yes, Sonny. Hello. You in here? Yeah, she is in here with me. Cool. Hello. Yes, Trump is speaking in Pennsylvania. He should be taking his stage at some point during your show. I don't know exactly when. When he was scheduled.
I'm looking
but...
for the RSBN link on X. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. They should be going. Cool. All right. Well, I guess I'll leave it in your hands then.
All right.
Yes, indeed. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. We were supposed to get this big storm. I think we wasn't sure. We've got rain down here, but it'll turn to ice. Lovely winter.
Yeah. That's always fun. Yeah.
I don't know. Snow or ice?
Yeah, I'd take snow. I'll do snow. Easy. At least it looks pretty. Yep.
Do you guys ever have to do that? Like if you park outside, do you ever get the ice like where you have to like scrape your
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Early morning scraping off the windshield, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'll let you get to it.
All right.
Yeah, have a good show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good evening. All right, everybody.
Okay, folks. I guess that's it for me. We are. I'm gonna let my lady get to it. Here in a few minutes. She'll be doing her interview, so I don't know where she's gonna post that. Probably on her own channel, I assume. So keep an eye out for it there. And I will see you guys. I guess I'll probably be covering to. Oh, you know what? Shit, I should have asked Sunny if she could cover for me tomorrow. I need coverage tomorrow evening. I'm working tomorrow. It was originally supposed to be working 8 to 7, but got shifted to 5 p.m. start time, so I assume it's probably going to be running into the night. So I'll be here in the morning, but I got to get coverage for the evening show. So I will see you guys bright and early, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. All right. Bye-bye.